Okay, hey ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Humber and we're going to do our very last note video of Unit 3. So today we're going to talk about operations of polynomials. So we're going to be doing a lot of word problem examples today. So as always, the worksheet is really similar to the note sheet. So it's really important that you have your note sheet completed well and that you have it in front of you while you're doing your practice sheet. So let's take a look at this. So for the first one, it says calculate, for number 1, it says calculate the area of the following geometric figures. So it wants us to calculate the area of the square. Well, the area of for a square is going to be length times width. So for the area, we're going to do length times width. Oops, that should be a 4. Now, whenever you have two binomials being multiplied together, that's where you need to go to the box method. So you have x minus 4, x minus 4. Well, x times x is x squared. X times negative 4x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. So then we have x squared minus 4x plus 16. Now we need to combine those middle two terms. Negative 4 minus 4, that's going to give us a negative 8x plus 16. So this right here is your final answer for number 1. Let's take a look at part B. So now it wants us to find the area of a triangle. So to get the area of a triangle, we need to do 1/2 base times height. So the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So let's start first and foremost by plugging that in. So we have 1/2 and then our base, which is 4x squared, and our height, which is 2x cubed. So I'm going to leave out this 1/2 for right now, and I'm just going to focus on these parts right here. So when you multiply monomials, we need to multiply the coefficients. 4 times 2 is 8. X squared times x to the third, you're going to add those exponents and you get x to the 5th. Now we're going to take that and we're going to multiply it by 1/2. So 1/2 times 8, well that's the same as 8 divided by 2. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then we'll keep that x to the 5th just as is. So the area of the triangle is 4x to the 5th. Let's take a look at number 2. It says, for Halloween, the physics department has had its students make catapults for a pumpkin flinging contest on the football field. The parabolic motion for the top of the 2 catapults could be measured by the following functions. Negative x squared plus 2x plus 13 and negative x squared minus x plus 16. What is the difference in height in the pumpkins at any point after the launch? So when you launch pumpkins, it kind of goes like this. And then there's going to be maybe a pumpkin that doesn't quite go as high. So we want to find that distance in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that first one, which is negative x squared plus 2x plus 13, and we're going to subtract off the second one, which is negative x squared minus x plus 16. So in order to do that, remember when you're subtracting, you need to go through and change the signs of everything. So let's set up our columns. So we have negative x squared plus 2x plus 13. And then I have x squared plus x minus 16. So now my columns are lined up, so I can go ahead and just add down the columns. Okay, negative x squared plus x squared, that's just going to be 0x squared. So that really just cancels out. 2x plus x is 3x. 13 minus 16 is negative 3. So this right here represents the difference between the 2 catapults. Alright, next, let's take a look at number 3. What is the perimeter of a rectangle with length 2x squared minus, that's hard to see, minus x and a width of 2x plus 1? Well, first of all, whenever I see something like this, I instantly want to draw a picture. So I have 2x squared minus x, which means for a rectangle that this side over here also needs to be 2x squared minus x. And then if this is 2x plus 1, this also has to be 2x plus 1. So the perimeter is the sum of all the sides. So to get the perimeter, I need to add each of these. So I have 2x squared minus x plus 2x plus 1 plus 2x squared minus x plus 2x plus 1. So now I need to combine like terms. All right, so 2x squared plus 2x squared. Well, 2 plus 2 is 4, and then we'll keep the x squared the same. So I cancel those out. You want our answer in standard form, so we want our exponents going in descending order. Negative x plus 2x, negative 1 plus 2 is just 1x, so now here I'm down to 1x, minus x, that's going to give me 0x, plus 2x, that's going to give me 2x. So my answer here is 4x squared plus 2x. And last but not least, I have 1 plus 1, which is going to give me 2. So this polynomial right here represents the perimeter of that rectangle. All right, let's take a look at number 4. A taxi service charges a flat fee for of $10 for a ride. So let's start there, okay? Let's start there. So before we even go anywhere, I have to pay $10. It charges 50 cents for street driving and 75 cents for highway driving. So we want a total of 20 miles, and D of those miles are street driving. So for every D mile I went on the street, it's going to cost me 50 cents. Now, we need to account for the fact that we went on the highway for a little bit. So let's say we know we went 20 miles. And if I tell you, okay, 4 of those miles were on the street, that means 16 of them had to be on the highway. So all I did to do that was I took the total number of hours and subtracted the number of hours on the street. So that's what we're going to do. To figure out our highway driving, we're going to take our total number of hours and subtract the amount on the street. So now instead of using 4, I'm using D because I don't actually know how many I did on the street. So we're going to start by distributing that in. So then I get 10 plus 0.5 D plus now 0.75 times 20 is going to give me 15. 0.75 times negative D is negative 0.75 D. So now I need to go through and combine some like terms. So first and foremost, okay, I'm going to combine my D's. 0.5D minus 0.75D is going to give me a negative 0.25D. Then 10 plus 15, when you add those together, it's going to give you 25. So this right here represents your total bill. If you know how many hours you drove on the street, you could figure out exactly how much you're going to have to pay. Let's take a look at this one. This one's really similar. So Brooke has a pay-as-you-go cell phone. She has to pay $20 a month to keep the phone active. So no matter how much she uses it, she's paying $20. There's 10 cents per minute for in-network calls, 50 cents per minute for out-of-network calls. Suppose she talks on her phone for 400 minutes. So that's going to be our total. That 400 minutes is our total. M of those minutes are in-network. So for every M minute I spent in-network, it cost me 10 cents. Now remember, our out-of-network calls are going to be our total minus our in-network minutes. So for our out-of-network, we're going to take our total and subtract the number of in-network, just like we did on the previous problem. So now to simplify, I'm going to distribute in. So I get B is equal to 20 plus 0.10M. 0.5 times 400 is going to give me 200. 0.5 minus M, or times negative M, is going to give me negative 0.50M. So now I need to combine my like terms. Let's start with my M's. So 0.10M times 0.50M, well, that's going to give me 0.40M. For my bill. 20 plus 200 is going to give me 220. And sorry, this is going to be a negative because that 0.5 is bigger. So negative 0.40M plus 220. So that's your bill. So if you know how many in-network minutes you spent, plug that in for M and you could get your answer to the entire equation. Let's take a look at number 6, our last one. You're trying to find the volume of a swimming pool. You know how much water it'll take to fill in. You know that the length is 2 feet less than its width. Okay, so let's draw this out. So I'm just going to start by calling my width W. The length is 2 feet less than the width. So the length is the width, and it's going to be minus 2. The depth is a foot greater than twice the width. So twice the width, and then add a foot. So this here represents the expression for the volume. It says write a simplified expression for the volume. So to do that, to multiply the volume, you need to do length times width times height. So that's what we're going to do, length times width times height. I'm going to write out just like that. Now, if you remember correctly, when you multiplied these out, you multiplied this times this. Okay, we did that first. We used the box method to do that. So we had w minus 2, 2w plus 1. So let's multiply 2w times w. That's going to give us 2w squared. 2 times a negative 2 is a negative 4, and then we'll put w. 1 times w is w. 1 times a negative 2 is a negative 2. So here I have 2w squared minus 4w plus w minus 2. So now I want to combine my like terms. So I have 2w squared minus 4 plus 1 is a negative 3w plus 2. Now recall, originally this was multiplied by w. So I need to take that w and distribute it into each part of that polynomial. So the exponents are going to go up by 1. W squared times w to the first, you're going to add those exponents and get w cubed. Here, w to the first times w to the first, 1 plus 1 is 2. And then 2 times w is just going to be 2w. Last but not least, I see that we're talking in feet. So we need to label this for the volume. So we're talking in feet, and typically when you're talking volume, it's feet cubed. Okay, when you're talking volume, it's feet cubed. So this right here is your final answer. So that concludes your note video today. Thanks for listening. Show me your completed note sheet when you're done.